Marrying the man of early dreams. I didn't expect to be entering a bloody ritual. Opening with dark images like rain, soft, eerie background music. Deep female voice speaking slowly, clearly each word. Helena, main character. I used to think love was the most sacred thing a woman could preserve. But that night in a remote village, I understood that love, if misplaced, could become curse. Silence for a few seconds. And my name is Helena. And the story I am about to tell is not a dream, not an urban legend, but a memory. Bloody, dark, and very real. Flashback, warm tones, low light, Helena preparing her wedding. The narrator continues, soft but slightly tense background music. I met Benito in Manila, a quiet man, but always gentle. He was not like other men, not in a hurry, not touching. After a year of being in love, he proposed. And I said yes. Everything was like a beautiful dream, until the day I agreed to go with him to his hometown, to a place called Aklan. Scene changes to an old car driving through red dirt roads, gray area, deserted fields. The narrator becomes slower and deeper. We left the city. With me were my two younger sisters and a cousin, both girls, both loved me. But perhaps I led them into the gates of hell without knowing it. Image, Aklan village appears, old, gloomy, people peeking from inside their houses. The village is hidden deep in the mountains. No phone signal. No street lights. No strangers. Only them, Benito's family, and people of the same blood. They look at us as if they had been waiting for us for a long time. But not to welcome but to perform some kind of ritual. Something ancient and terrible. Pause, distant drumbeat echoes, image of shirtless man, machete in hand, standing far away looking into the camera. I began to see things that were wrong. A pig being slaughtered. A feast with only meat and eyes, as if choosing prey. Close-up of Helena sitting and telling the camera, present. If you ever thought marriage was just a vow between two people, then you have never been married in a village where love is blood is sacrifice. And weddings are rituals to summon demons. Based on true story. Kasalan, Aklan, the last wedding. Manila, the city of dust, dreams and loneliness. I worked here for 4 years, sewing clothes in the morning, folding fabric in the afternoon, and eating instant noodles with my two sisters in cramped rented room in the evening. But never complained. Because my heart had something to focus on. Warm yellow light in a simple rented house, Helena sat writing a letter. The wind blew through the window. The background music was soft but emotional. His name is Benito. A quiet man, working in the same industrial park. He doesn't talk much, doesn't make promises, but is always there when need him. Every afternoon after work, he waits for me at the end of the alley, holding a loaf of bread and a warm gaze. Image of two people walking, sharing food, leaning on each other at the bus stop. I loved Benito with all the trust of a woman who had never known betrayal. But there was one thing. Never asked carefully. Where are you from? Who is your family? Ile, after 5 years in Manila, have you never been back to your hometown? The red light blinked. Helena lay thinking in the night. But then, like many other girls, just listened to my heart. When he proposed, didn't ask Ale, didn't hesitate. I said yes. The sound of the sewing machine closing, the scene of Helena submitting her resignation, her sister crying, friends seeing her off. I quit in my job, packed up in my life, and I followed him with my 2 younger sisters and a cousin to a strange place. A place called Aklan, Benito's hometown. Cut to an old car driving into the mountains. The soundtrack begins to change to a soft dramatic tone. The isle is gray, the clouds are low. That car was carrying 4 women and a blind faith. I don't know at the end of that red dirt road what awaits. Yea, from the car window, villagers watching, a few children hiding behind the door, a man wearing an upside-down cross necklace. The narrator's voice gradually lowers, almost whispering. When stepped onto that land, I felt like there was something in the air, heavy, cold, and very ancient. The big wooden house where Benito's family lives, everyone greets them warmly, but their eyes are cold and long. The Benito family is very welcoming to warm. They smile, but their eyes are measuring. They offer food and drink, but no one eats the main course except the guests. And most importantly, there is not a single person in that village who does not have the same last name as Benito. Cut to the first night, the wooden room, Helena lies awake. The sound of insects, the sound of footsteps on the floor. I could not sleep that night. There was a sound outside. Not the sound of wine. Not the sound of animals. But the sound of people whispering in a language had never heard before. The eyes of the villagers, the child drawing a headless figure on the ground, the hand holding a knife cutting raw meat. I should ask. I should go back. But love makes people blind. And I was really blind. Not all weddings end with a kiss. Some end with blood. Aklan, not on the map. No gas stations, no schools, no clinics. Just fields, pigs, and blood. The camera pans to each house, wooden doors closed, people greeting with stiff smiles. A little girl stands straight, not blinking at Helena. The village is unusually clean, but there's not a Lee or radio. The people are polite, friendly, but no one is an outsider. All of them, they have the same last name as Benito. Helena washes her hands in the kitchen, eavesdropping on the conversation in the local language. The camera shakes slightly, a sense of unease. They speak a language I don't understand, low, steady, like they're chanting or reciting an oath. Preparing for the festival, men slaughter, huge black pig, blood splattered everywhere. Laughter, the thumping of a bass drum. The camera pans quickly, as if Helena's eyes were bewildered. The narrator continues. Benito says it's the Anito festival, to give thanks to the god of the harvest. I want to believe. But Ale is no one in the village allowed to mention the god's name. The feast is set in the courtyard, only the elders sit and eat. The children stand far away, silent. An old woman puts her hand on a little girl's head and pushes her gently, as if to forbid her from crossing the line. The children are not allowed to come near the altar. The young women are kept indoors. And the men, they seemed to be rehearsing for something, a dance or a ritual. The first night of the festival, the oil lamps are red, the villagers dance in a circle. The music repeats. Helena's face is tense. They start dancing, no words, no singing. Just footsteps, drums, and empty eyes. Helena's sister looks out the door, sees a shirtless man wearing a wooden mask, smearing blood on his chest. The scene flashes. I'm not sure if what I saw was real or if I started to panic. But that night, there was a man wearing a mask smearing something bright red on his heart. And then laughing. The next morning, Helena walks out to the pigsty, finds traces, bloody human hair in the ashes. Something's wrong. But every time I open my mouth, Benito just says, "This is tradition. Tradition. Or sacrifice." Helena opens the door to the warehouse, sees dozens of wooden statues, carved of headless men. Some have names engraved on them. I found them headless statues. Someone's name was carved on the back. A name I recognized. And it wasn't a villager's name. The camera zooms in on Helena's eyes, frightened, just realizing the truth. The village didn't welcome me. They were waiting for me. And that wedding might not be the beginning of a family, but the end of an ancient ritual. The drum beats increase, the screen darkens, leaving only Helena's voice coldly. I thought it came to be wife. But actually, I came to be a prey. On the third day, things began to fall apart. An incident, seemingly harmless, exposed the truth I had been trying to avoid. 3 strange boys, guests from a neighboring village, teased a group of young women at the festival. A large man, a local resident, pushed one of the 3 hard. I saw it the first push. A quarrel. Then blood. The camera shakes violently, one person is pinned to the ground. Another emerges from the darkness, shirtless, holding a machete that glints in the firelight. No one intervenes. No police. No screaming. No running. Only the sound of drums and indifferent eyes that look like they've seen it all their lives. Blood spurts out, Helena covers her mouth. A head rolls on the ground. The people continue to dance. I freeze. They dance around the blood. An old woman laughs, raising a glass of dark wine, as if celebrating the victory. And I wonder, is that what's in that glass just wine? The evening feast, a plate of hot dinuguan, an unusually bright red. A man picks up a piece of tender meat for Helena, offering it with a hoarse laugh. They offered me to eat. The aroma spreads, but it can't cover up the strong metallic smell that comes from inside. Silence for a few seconds. I took a bite and almost threw up. Benito's sister sits there, her eyes red. An adult took her by the hand and pulled her into the inner room. The door slammed shut. That night, I saw Benito's sister crying. And for the first time, I heard her whisper, "Helena, they are not ordinary people." Helena asked Benito, but he avoided her eyes, answering curtly. I faced Benito. "You know what happened to that boy, right?" He was silent. Just whispered, "Don't ask. Don't disturb the ceremony." Helena walked through the closed room. Inside, there was a steady chanting in a strange language. Red light shone through the crack in the door. I began to hear strange chants, steady, hypnotic. They were calling someone's name, not God, not Buddha, but Kwago. The altar in the wooden house, a statue of a man with horns, a demon's face, a mouth that locked ear-splittingly. Surrounded you chicken heads, knives, and dried blood. I discovered underneath the traditional clothes is a cult. And the Anito they worship is not the god of harvest, but the god of blood. Helena returns to her room, trembling, writing a letter in a hand, but stops when she hears footsteps. Someone is watching from outside the door. The narrator's voice drops slow. I wanted to escape, but now I have become part of the ritual. I am not just a guest. I am a part of the blood that needs to be purified. Helena sits in the dark, her sister Benito gently touches her hand and whispers, "Helena, if we want to live, we must run before the full moon. When morality is swallowed, I believe who is the monster." It was raining lightly. The door to the room opened. Helena gasped, holding a candle, trembling as she entered the storage room at the back of the house. I must know the truth. I must see it with my own eyes. Even if the truth keeps me from sleeping again. The camera pans slowly, red clothes hanging from wooden beams. An altar with a dried goat's head, a ceramic bowl still stained with fresh blood, and a statue. I saw it. A raw wooden statue, almost as tall as a man. A devilish face, sunken eyes, and two sharp horns that seemed to pierce the ceiling. Helena backed away, hitting the rotten wooden floor, revealing a secret compartment. Inside was a sheaf of old papers, handwritten notes in Celtic language. Some passages were marked with dried blood. They wrote, they recorded every sacrifice, every name, every full moon. And on the last list there was my initial. Helena returns to the room in a panic. Benito's sister waits in the dark. Benito's sister whispers, "You saw it, didn't you?" I tried to hide. But no one has ever left this village alive. Flashback, Benito's sister recounts, she once loved a man from the city. He disappeared after refusing that purification ritual. They say it was a soul purification ritual. But I know it was murder. And now it's the turn of the one you love. Helena confronts Benito in the kitchen. The flickering firelight illuminates Benito's face. Helena places her hand on his chest, tears in her eyes. "Helena, tell me, who are you really? All this time, was your love real, or was it just part of the ritual?" Benito, bowing his head, voice choked. "I love you. But I have no choice. This is in my blood. This is the law of the village. And if I resist, my whole family will be exterminated." Helena walks out of the house, Benito's voice echoing in her head. The camera shakes to simulate suffocating emotions. "I love you. But I cannot die for you. I cannot be the prey of some god. Even if that god has the surname of the man once called Nephian." Torch procession, villagers dressed in white, moving towards the old chapel. Heavy drum beats. A man tied in red cloth. A blood offering. The tied man is Benito's sister's lover. They will kill him tonight. And then, me. Helena holds a small knife, turns to look at her crying sisters. The wind blows. Under the moonlight, decision is taking shape. The narrator's voice drops, gritting his teeth. This is no longer a love story. This is a story of living or being eaten alive. And if I want to survive, I must break the law of blood. Not everyone has the right to choose fate, but everyone has the right to choose life. Early morning country road, thin yellow sunlight covers old tin-roofed houses. Helena sits ill at the window, hugging her knees, her eyes lifeless. The narrator's voice is quiet, slow. I came back, but it was no longer me. People asked me about the wedding. Just said, it didn't work out. How could they understand what I escaped was not a wedding, but a sacrifice? Flashback, moments of running in the night, wind whistling through her hair, torches chasing her. Helena clutching her sister as she jumps into the river. I haven't slept wink in months. Every time close in my eyes, I see blood. Every time hear the drums, my heart pounds, as if Kuago is coming back to claim the lost offering. Helena works in garment factory in Manila. Sweat, the sound of sewing machines, the flickering of fluorescent lights. Her eyes are empty. I went back to Manila. Started over. On the outside I was a normal woman. But on the inside, I was an unburied corpse. One day, Benito appears, thin, with dark circles under his eyes, standing silently in front of Helena's rented room. Helena, voice. I should have chased him away. I should have yelled at him. But I stood still. Because in my heart, though wounded, still remembers. Still wait. Benito kneels, placing his hand on Helena's belly, pregnant with twins. The two lie in silence. We don't say words of forgiveness. We just continue to live. Because in my belly are two creatures who know nothing about blood, about gods, about fear. Family life in Manila, Benito works as a construction worker. Helena takes care of the children. A simple meal, children slaughter echos in the small house. Deep voice. We have a family. Not rich, but it is our own. And the past, like nightmare, sleeps behind layers of time. Afternoon, Helena and her daughter are eating in the kitchen. On the table is a hot dish of dinuguan. The little girl grimaces. Daughter. Mommy, this is so black. Is it really blood, Mom? Helena smiles faintly. Yes. Blood. But good blood. Clean blood. Pauses for a few seconds, her eyes are distant. I once knew a place where people thought blood was an offering. Close-up shot, Helena looks at her daughter, who is eating deliciously. Helena's eyes silently shift to the space outside the window. Daughter asks innocently, Mommy, is it true that there are demons? Helena turns to her daughter, smiling, half gentle, half shivering. The background music starts playing, soft but tense. Helena whispers, Do you believe in demons? Look straight into the camera. I do. There are loves that don't lead to marriage, but straight into the mouth of the devil. Based in a true story. Kasalan, Aklan, year last wedding.